Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our afternoon session. We trust that you enjoyed your meal. Let's now move ahead with another engaging seminar. The topic of this session is benefits from supply chain relocation and renewed investment EV industries. Thailand is embracing to not only adapt to this trend, but also position itself as a regional and global player in the EV sector. We are honored to have Secretary General Thailand Board of Investment, Mr. Narit Thirdsathiansak, and Vice Chief Executive Officer Railway Automotive Company Limited, Ms. Prathanporn Pornprapha with us. Head of Research, DBS Vickers Securities, Ms. Chanpen Sirithana Ratanakul will be our moderator for the session. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite our panelists and moderator on the stage.
Sawadee. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Thailand Focus 2023, The New Horizon. In this session, we'll discuss the benefits from supply chain relocation and renewed investment, especially in the EV and related industries. The automotive sector has always been one of the most important pillars of the Thai economy, and as the world is moving towards decarbonization, Thailand is also actively embracing this EV revolution. The government has come up with a lot of investment incentives with an aim of developing the country to be an EV manufacturing hub. And this has been successful so far, as we have seen a lot of new investments by major EV players. In addition, on the demand side, EV sales have jumped strongly during the last 2 years. And today, we are very honored to have our two panelists here from both the public sector and private sectors who will share their insights on how they see the industry going forward. Maybe I'll start with the question for Khun Narit Thirdsathiansak, Secretary General from Thailand's Board of Investment first. Khun Narit, could you discuss Thailand's automotive industry and our roadmap for the EV industry, please?
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you, Khun Phatra and Stock Exchange of Thailand for inviting me to join Thailand Focus. For the automotive industry, we have a long history in this industry. Could you please share my slide? Automotive industry is one of the key sector of Thai economy, represent about 6% of the GDP and almost 1 million workforce. Now Thailand is the largest automotive producer in Southeast Asia and ranked number 10 in the world with the production volume of more than 1.8 million units last year. And we are one of the largest exporter as well. And for this year, we forecast that the vehicle production would reach almost 2 million units. Our export performance is also outstanding as compared to other ASEAN countries. Thailand is the largest exporter of automotive parts and components in Southeast Asia and ranked 15 in the world. One of the reasons is the complete supply chain, which we have developed for more than 50 years. And Thailand has the most complete and strongest supply chain of the automotive in the region. Many multinational companies have already established in Thailand Now we have almost 2,000 part and component suppliers in Tier 1 to Tier 3, ranging from plastic, rubber, and metal products, and rubber ties, interior part, electronic part, and also safety system, and so on. We also have been successfully promoted the product champion in automotive industry from one-ton pickup to eco car, big bike, and we are now building electric vehicle as our new product champion. You will see that the automotive industry has been the top export item of Thailand for a long time, account for more than 10% of the total export. And automotive is one of the few export items that still have growth during the past 6 months of this year with a 5% growth rate. And Thailand's automobile product have been exported to all over the world. Asia is number one export market, account for more than 30% of total export, followed by Australia and the Middle East. And the one-ton pickup is the most famous product for most of the export destination, except in North America, which passenger car is dominant. And as the world is moving towards the electrification, Thai government has strong intention to make Thailand become the world-class EV production hub. This is the reason why the government announced an aggressive target of 30 at 30 vision, which means we will produce at least 30% pure electric vehicle by the year 2030. Which will also create many opportunities in related products, such as the part and component, battery charging facility, and also the related ecosystem. And with this aspiration, we hope that Thailand will be one of the top BEV producers in the world, and we will be able to maintain the top rank in Southeast Asia. So this is our target for building the EV industry in Thailand.
Thank you very much, Ka. We have heard a lot about the supply chain relocation, especially from the various EV makers. Could you discuss the current investment situation, please, especially in the EV and related industries?
For the current situation of the investment application during the first half of this year show a very positive trend. We have received 891 projects of investment application, 18% increase, and the investment amount is more than 360 billion baht, increased by 70%, and almost half of those are located in the EEC area. And in terms of the industrial sector, the electronics, agriculture and food processing, and automotive are the top three sectors, account for more than 60% of the total investment. For the electronic industry, it increased 7 times from the same period of last year because we have received many large projects in the electronic industry, especially the printed circuit board or PCB, IC and wafer testing, and also smart electronic products. Because of the ongoing relocation trend by electronic component makers to reduce the risk from the geopolitical tensions and supply chain disruption. And for the agro industry and food processing, which came second, the investment application include the projects by well-known global brands such as Pringle. We received a big investment project from Pringle, which is the potato chip from the United States. They decided to invest in Thailand. And also the Lotus Biscoff, a famous biscuit maker from Belgium. They will use Thailand as a production base to export to the Asia Pacific market. And for automotive and part industry, most of the projects involving in the auto parts and charging station for the EV. And apart from these 10 targeted sectors, there were also a big investment in the power generation, especially the renewable energy, which has the investment amount of more than 26 billion baht over the past 6 months. For the FDI, you will see that foreign investment continue to increase at a very high rate. We have been receiving around 300 billion baht in the past 6 months. China ranked first, mostly in the electronics and EV industry, followed by Singapore and Japan. Even though Japan is number 3, but you will see that the figure from Japan increased more than double from the same period last year. And this figure reflects the confidence of the foreign investor in Thailand, especially our fundamental, well-developed infrastructure and strong supply chain. Apart from the manufacturing activities, we have also attracted many leading companies to set up their regional headquarters in Thailand, mostly from Japan. And in terms of the sector, most of the regional headquarters are in the automotive, machinery and equipment, and also electronic industry. Many leading companies that already set up their regional headquarters in Thailand include the Agoda. Agoda is located at the Central World Building. They employ more than 3,000 people working here in Thailand, and about 2,000 from all over the world. They come to live and work in Thailand together with Thai young generation. And there are also many automotive companies that already established the headquarters in Thailand, including Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. According to the latest figure of the BOI for the EV industry, there are 14 projects from 13 companies already received BOI promotion to produce the battery electric vehicle with the total capacity of more than 270,000 units, which is equivalent to around 1/3 of the total target under the 30 vision. And we also have many new players that come to invest in Thailand during the past 3 years, such as MG, Great Wall Motor, and BYD. And recently, many companies have already announced their investment plan in Thailand and will submit the application to BOI in the second half of this year, such as the Chang'an Automobile and GAC Ion. For EV parts and components, there are totally 18 projects from 16 companies received BOI promotion to produce key parts such as the traction motor, BMS, DCU, and also onboard charger. And for battery, which is the most important parts of the electric vehicle, we promote both battery maker for EV and for the ESS. So far, we already granted promotional status to 25 companies with 31 projects. And recently, you may have heard that the leading battery makers like CATL already announced their investment plan. They will join hand with Arun Plus under the PTT group to produce a cell 2-pack battery in Thailand. And the other company, Goshen from China as well, they also will have a joint venture with Nuovo Plus to set up the battery factory to produce module and pack with the capacity of more than 2 gigawatt hour. And for EV charging station, which is a very important ecosystem for the EV industry, so far we have promoted 10 projects from 9 companies with the total chargers of more than 11,000 units. And more than 4,000 chargers were already installed all over the country. And for the EV market, domestic market in Thailand, everyone can see that the EV adoption in Thailand has increased rapidly. For the EV registration, in the first 6 months of this year, there are more than 40,000 vehicles for the BEV that are registered in Thailand. The number is more than double from the whole year of 2022. And the accumulated amount of the BEV registered, so far we have more than 70,000 units. And according to the survey of Deloitte, almost 1/3 of the respondents in Thailand would like a BEV as their new vehicle, which is the highest proportion among the ASEAN members. This represents the high rate of EV adoption in the country. Yes, so that's all my presentation for the first session.
Thank you very much ค่ะคุณนฤทธิ์ค่ะ Next I would like to move to คุณประธานพรพรประภา Vice CEO of Railway Automotive Company Limited, the authorized distributor of BYD cars in Thailand. We have seen BYD cars market share has been increasing quite rapidly during the last 2 years. Could you discuss the current market situation and trend of EV industry in Thailand, please?
Of course, thank you. But first of all, I'm very happy to be here. I think in this very exciting EV environment, I think Kunarit has painted a very, very clear picture of how busy everything's been in the EV sector. I think Thailand, we're quite new to the EV industry in general, but maybe I will just touch on a little bit about the global market first. So I think post-COVID, everybody has seen that there's been an increase in demand in people owning their own vehicles. And basically with the commodity price going up, I think everybody know about the oil prices. Like basically the EV adoption globally has been increasing quite nicely. So 2022 saw around 14% increase of electric vehicles adopted all over the world. And the global market seems to think that, EV will actually go up to 30% this year. So 10 million last year all over the world. They think that it will probably finish at 14 million. Now back to Thailand. Thailand, we're a very, very new country for EV. Last year we closed at around 22,000 vehicles. First, I have to apologize because at Reve we basically we very much focus on pure electric vehicles. So the number that we report are purely electric. So last year we closed at around 22,000, but I think most of you would already have seen the statistic. Up to June, we're already at around 32,000 vehicles. So I'm very hopeful about this year that we're probably going to close at about 400% plus than last year's number. it's an exciting market, and we're seeing the numbers every day. I think, what we're seeing in Thailand is the readiness to adopt. And I think, with BOI and then their efforts as well in bringing factories here, it helped a lot with the ease of use for a lot of users. A lot of people were very worried about what it would be long term in terms of spare parts and everything else. And all the factory setting up here has definitely helped push the ecosystem forward. So far, I think you were asking a little bit about the environment of how EV is. Actually, I find it very exciting. When we started, which was last year in August, there were not many EV brands in the country. And we were actually quite excited about this year having more brands. Why we are excited about this is because I think that EV is nearly like a story. With every new adoption, everybody needs a story. People are more hesitant to use it because they've never used it before. So the more people we have in market, the more adoption there is, and the more marketing there is to people talking about how easy it is to use it. So I think the competitive landscape for EV will look very good this year, and we will be hearing a lot more about brands coming in. GAC is coming in, Chang'an as well. So by the end of the year, I think we'll be seeing a lot of newer choices coming into market. In terms of BYD, where we are, so since deploying last year in August, we've delivered about 18,000 cars. Reve ourselves, as a company, we've always focused on, bringing in technology to decarbonize the country. So we're the sole distributor for BYD passenger vehicles, and we've moved into the commercial sector as well this year. So I think hopefully you guys will be hearing more about us in the commercial sector too.
How many models are you selling right now?
Oh, sorry. The figures are for our single model, which is the Atto 3. So we've just launched the Dolphin. Currently, the numbers, we counted by registration, so the numbers are not in yet as of June. We're going to be launching another model coming soon.
And that's passenger car?
Yes, passenger car.
I see.
For the commercial part, we are deploying E6 and T3, light commercial vehicles at the moment, and then with the plan to expand more into heavy use commercial vehicles in the near future.
Okay. Could you touch a bit on the subsidy for EV user, please?
So I think that has been really great. I think Kunarit's actually covered a lot of the subsidy, but the 150,000 has been really, really good for the market, because I think you will see, I think a lot of the EV statistics, you see 10 million for last year, right? But then 10 million is with a lot of countries that have applied subsidies for a long time. China has applied it over 5 years. So it's been a decade they've had subsidies in EV. America too, and so has Europe. So actually, the subsidy itself, I think, is probably one of the most important things that actually got the EV movement going forward, because we're talking about mass consumer product. When you talk about a mass consumer product, probably the most important thing is pricing, because we're talking to a whole country. So basically, we know that electric cars, for example, Reve, we're purely in electric. We know that 10 years down the line, the cost of maintenance is about 50% less than an ICE engine. But the thing is that the cost up front is more than an ICE vehicle engine. So 150,000 subsidy for our cars has been amazing. Also with the excise tax, but Kunarit's already covered most of it, so I don't think I'll touch on that. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think what are the key factors driving the mass adoption of EVs? Is it price, government incentives, technology, or what else?
So I think I've touched on the price itself, that it's very, very important for at least the first adopters and a lot of people who are considering EV, right? We've done a study, and about 18% of people are ready to convert if it's not more than 15% above, let's say, an ICE engine. But I think what really drove EV into motion also is probably the timing of the oil prices as well. Because at the end, I think now as the adoption goes, even though oil prices are settling at the moment, people already know how much they're saving, even though the oil price is dropping. So this is one of the key things. We're seeing second waves of adopters right now. Other than that, I think that in general, other than the ease of use now, with the adoption that's going, I have to say that Thailand has been quite phenomenal in a way that people share how an EV is being used. I think if you compare it to other markets where EV was adopted a long time ago, it took a lot of time for people to understand that EV is so easy to use. But in Thailand, as soon as the first movers adopted it, it's all over the internet. Oh, you can charge here. You actually don't need to charge that much. So I think that's probably one of the key reasons too, is the communication and the openness where our users are actually sharing. And I think one of the last thing, we've done a study too, and around, like before, it's changing, but at the beginning of our journey, about 12% of the people wanted to change to an EV car, right, because of the climate change angle. Everyone wanted to commit that they're doing something to help the country. At 12% at that moment, I think that it's a lot of newer generations too, but I believe that in the years that's coming, that will change. Because I think you're seeing in the news, like what's happening in Maui right now, and in California as well. And we haven't even covered the fires in Canada. Climate change tech is gonna become very, very important because these issues are more evident in Asia, like we have floods every year. These kind of topics, I think globally will be discussed, and this will be one of the issues that I think will raise that 12% up because people are being more aware of what climate tech could help with in terms of in the general goal of going to net zero.
Thank you, Ka. And I agree that those who have already changed from ICE to EV, they will never go back to ICE. Next, I would like to come back to Khun Narit. Can Thailand be a hub for EV production? What are our competitive advantages as compared to other in the region?
As we have been facing many challenges, especially the global geopolitical tensions and the climate change and also the digital transformation. There are many investment trends in the future, including the relocation and diversification, green investment, and also the digitalization and automation. And the investors are also looking for the place which is safe, resilient, and has the strong policy to support the digital and green transformation. So I believe that Thailand will be the right place for the investor in the next decade. Thailand has many strengths to offer to the investor and will be beneficial for the investor, such as the well-developed infrastructure and connectivity. And we also have a complete and strong supply chain, especially for the automotive and also for the electric vehicle in the future. And for the market access, we have a large domestic market, and we also open economy, which we have signed 14 FTAs with 18 nations, and we are in negotiation process with the more than 20 countries. So in the near future, we will expect to have more than 50 FTAs that will help the investor can access the global market. And for the government support, we provide the competitive incentive for the investor, especially for the EV industry. And one of our strengths is a green transformation policy. Thailand is among very few countries that will be able to provide clean energy to the business, which is very important for many leading companies. As you know that not only the country level, but many leading companies, they have their carbon neutrality target, and they are committed to use 100% renewable energy in their operations. And many companies choose Thailand as their location because they are confident that we can help them to achieve carbon neutrality target. And another important factors are the safety and resilience. Many investors come to see BOI and they told us that they choose Thailand because of the safety and resiliency. We have geopolitical neutrality, and Thailand has a good relationship with all countries. Many people call us the conflict-free zone or safe zone for the investor. And we also have proved the resilience during the crisis, as you can see during the COVID period, that we can help every factory or business sector to operate as usual during the crisis. So these are our strengths that will be beneficial to the investor, including the electric vehicle. And this strength make Thailand become the regional hub in many areas, including tech hub, BCG hub, talent hub, logistic hub, and creative hub. And in January this year, we just launched our new investment promotion policy, which set out to promote the investment to restructure Thai industrial sector and move Thailand towards the new economy, which will be an innovative, competitive, and inclusive economy. And one of the key sectors is the electric vehicle. And with our inspiration and our strength, as I mentioned earlier, we believe that Thailand will be the right place for the investment in the electric vehicle in the next decade.
Thank you. You mentioned in your slide about the BOI support. Could you elaborate more about, like in terms of incentives for the EV entire ecosystem? Is it going into like every part of the EV ecosystem, please?
PowerPoint, please. Okay. As I mentioned that we just launched our new strategy. And under new strategy, we have identified 5 priority sectors, which are BCG, electric vehicle, smart electronics, digital and creative industry. We believe that these 5 industries will be a game changer for Thai economy. And of course, EV is one of those. And to achieve the 30 at 30 vision and also the target under our new strategy, Thailand is the first country in Southeast Asia that launched the comprehensive and aggressive measure to promote the EV industry that cover both supply side and demand side. For supply side, the BOI provide the incentive to the EV producers, which cover a wide range of EV segment from BEV, PHEV, hybrid, and also fuel cell electric vehicle. And we also cover every types of EV, two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, bus and truck, and also electric boat and electric bicycle. And not only vehicle, we also focus on the EV ecosystem, such as the battery and key parts and component, and also battery charging station and swapping station, and software and application related to EV. So these are all activities we are focusing on to promote the EV industry in Thailand. On the right-hand side, for the demand stimulation measures, which is implemented by the Ministry of Finance, the EV board approved the measures to stimulate the domestic demand of the EV by granting the incentive, including the CBU import duty exemption or reduction for 2 years, for the first 2 years, and the excise tax reduction, and also the cash subsidy up to 150,000 baht per unit. And apart from this measure, we also focusing on the charging facility development And the Ministry of Industry is also developing the testing and standard facility. And recently, you may have heard that the Government Saving Bank just announced a special package to provide a soft loan for EV supply chain. So these are all the comprehensive measures from Thai government to promote the EV industry. And as I mentioned, that we are the first and only country in Southeast Asia that initiated these comprehensive measures. This is the reason why we have been successful in attracting many new players in EV to establish in Thailand in the past 2 or 3 years. This is a measure from the BOI to promote the EV producers, which I just mentioned earlier. Our measures cover the vehicle production and also EV part and components. We work closely with the related agencies like Ministry of Industry and also Ministry of Finance to identify 17 key parts that will receive the highest incentive from the BOI. For example, we have traction motor, BMS, DCU, and also battery, which battery cell production will receive the highest incentive. For the charging facility, we promote both battery charging station and battery swapping station. The battery swapping station is a new model which will be suitable for some segment of the EV, such as the EV motorcycle and also the commercial vehicle. And we also grant incentive to the software and application development that is related to EV, such as the EV system control software or fleet management platform or application for charging station management. And this is a EV3 package. As I understand that you already know this package very well, which is launched since February last year. And more than 10 companies already joined this package. This is a draft EB 3.5 package. The objective is to keep the momentum of the EV growth in the country. So the EV board already approved in principle to launch the EB 3.5, which will be effective since January next year. After we have the new government, we have to propose this EB 3.5 to the new cabinet to get the approval. The subsidy will be reduced from 150,000 baht per unit to approximately 100,000 baht per unit. And the condition is similar to the EV 3.5. The companies that enjoy the benefit from EB3 or EB 3.5 will be committed to produce the BEV locally in Thailand to compensate the CBU import. And apart from the tax incentive, the BOI also provides the service to the EV companies to do the local sourcing. We organize the event to match between buyers and suppliers throughout the year. Just recently in May this year, we organized a big event we call Subcon Thailand. Subcon stands for subcontracting. Subcon Thailand is the largest industrial subcontracting event in Southeast Asia. We invite hundreds of suppliers to exhibit in this event, and we also invite buyers from all over the world to come to see the potential of Thai suppliers in automotive and electronic parts and components. And in September, in next month, we will organize the Subcon EEC, in the EEC area. And we also invite both buyers and suppliers which are located in the Eastern Economic Corridor to join this event. And besides the big event, we also organize a special event for automakers. Last month, we joined hands with BYD to organize the BYD Sourcing Day, which we invite more than 160 part and component manufacturers in Thailand, both Thai company and foreign company that have their factory in Thailand, to meet with the BYD executive. And it has been quite successful. We have more than 200 business matching between companies and BYD sourcing team. And in September, we will organize this kind of event with the NETA company. And after September, we also have scheduled to organize this event with many other companies in EV industry and also electronics industry. So this event will help Thai suppliers to be part of the global supply chain of the global EV companies. And we just developed the new platform we call the HQ Biz portal to help the company that would like to set up their regional headquarters in Thailand. We collaborate with our partners like Revenue Department, the Bank of Thailand, and also the Department of Business Development to provide one-stop service for leading companies to help them expedite the process of establishing the regional headquarters in Thailand. And the other service from the BOI is the long-term resident visa. Actually, we collaborate with the Immigration Bureau and Ministry of Labor to set up the one-stop service for visa and work permit, which is located at Jamjuli building in downtown Bangkok for more than 20 years. But recently, we just launched the new type of visa, which called the long-term resident visa, to attract high potential foreigners in 4 groups, including the wealthy global citizen, wealthy pensioner, work from Thailand professional or remote workers, and also highly skilled professional in many industries, including the EV industry. Many privileges will be offered for the LTR visa holder, such as 10-year visa that will come automatically with the digital work permit, and the reporting period will be extended from every 90 days to once a year. And for experts in targeted industry, will receive special personal income tax rate, only 17% flat rate. So these are all benefits, tax, non-tax, and also facilitation that we offer to the investor in the electrical to EV industry. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ka. It's very comprehensive. And next, I would like to ask Kun Prathanporn. Maybe I'm quite curious about the useful life of an EV battery pack. Normally, what's a useful life?
Well, I think basically this is actually a good question because, when we first started basically deploying EVs in country, you will see that Reve ourselves, I think we're the only country that do 8 years battery warranty, right? For all of our vehicles. I think the standard, basically the standard for most of the brands have 5, but we were the first to do that. The reason we did that is because actually we know that our batteries are very good. So BYD's battery itself, like through tests, basically technically can run for 1 million kilometers, 5,000 charging cycles. So if you convert that into years, that's probably around depending on how much you drive, around 50 years, something give or take. But like basically this is one thing that because electric vehicles are new, it's still a misconception that like the warranty only comes with this much means that the battery only lasts that long, which it's not. So recently we've just launched a program called Reve Inspected, in which like for secondhand cars that we would actually go in and basically inspect all the battery like quality that at which percentage that it's at, so that basically people understand more that the car can run much longer than that. So I think yeah, in terms of battery life, it's as I say, they run for a long time.
I see.
Yeah.
And once it reaches like the end of useful life, can it be recycled?
Yes, and actually I think there's a lot of capital which is going to go into this as well. Like, like a lot of people are looking into, basically lithium recycling is nothing new in the global market, right? We have Redwood, we have a bunch of people who are big players. In Asia, predominantly TESS is the strongest player. Currently, it's still like pyro and hydro, the technique that people are using. But basically, I think what will change is that the logistical movement of things, right? Like there will be a need to recycle second lives of battery, including storages. And I think that there's a gap that we haven't addressed yet, which is electronic waste within Asia. So if you're talking the market itself, if you're talking black mass market in terms of, to use for recycling lithium, it's a 1.5 billion market globally and around 60 million in Asia. So there's definitely a gap there that needs to be filled up and down the supply chain. While EV grows, this is definitely an opportunity. There's also new technologies coming in terms of recycling, which is more environmental friendly and more cost conscious. So this is definitely the space to watch, and I think that something exciting will happen here very soon.
Thank you. And in terms of charging station, do you think we have like enough infrastructure on this charging station?
So we've currently, you see at the moment, if you see the statistics, right, like it says that we have about 4,000 plus. If you're talking charging points or destination, that's around 1,100 around. We see the importance in this because, for our country, I think it's just like back in the days when we were transitioning from coal to oil, right? Like it also took a little while for the infrastructure to follow. I think then it was a very long time ago, so it took longer. It took a total of maybe 47 years. Now we have technology and everything that basically supports. It will go much faster, and we see that. There's a rising capital going into charging stations. Us ourselves too, when we deploy cars, we see the gap that, like a lot of our users, like basically drive very long distances. So we have users who actually live in Bangkok, work in the outskirts, and also people who live in Pattaya and work in Bangkok. So we know that our customers actually do drive a lot. And funnily, like out of all the cars that we deploy, 60% are actually bought in Bangkok, 40% is outside. And the trends of Thai people, like us Thais, we do like to travel. So basically from the top to down, we're seeing a gap that there's not enough in terms of infrastructure play. So this year we've basically done a collaboration with Charge called Reve Charge. We're going to have 1,110 heads by the end of the year. And I see more capital going into the charging structure because now that we're moving on commercial vehicles, I think what the charging capital returns will look like will be very different because once we start deploying fleet, if you look at global players, right, like Prologis, a lot of them, their money is being made from fleet charging as well. You're changing from, let's say, a 4% yield in a charging station to much more. So now that we're touching commercial vehicles, we basically see that like there's a lot more capital that's going to go into charging. Our focus is to make sure that our consumers can charge countrywide. And yeah, basically, I think at the end of the year, you'll be seeing more of Reve Charge.
Okay, what do you see as key opportunities and challenges for the EV industry, maybe globally and also in Thailand?
think Thailand or globally first? I think globally, probably I would call the concept of greenflation, it could be a thing in the future if private companies chooses to monopolize some technology. I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think the green trend will be going quite smoothly. I think now that, natural gas prices drop. If you're talking about let's say Thailand, for example, our energy pie, it's a lot of natural gas, right? We all know that the price is good now. Oil prices dropped as well. In terms of what we would call the gray energy, like the price is kind of stabling down. But I think in terms of EV, like I see probably the challenge, probably the only thing would be, yes, what I would call a greenflation, which is more on the global scale. In Thailand, I think that the challenge probably would be the management of our energy grid itself. But then Kunaritra already covered that, renewables will come into play. In Thailand now we have about 20% of renewables, and I think with the commitment to net zero, it will become much more. I think BOI is supporting a lot of projects in renewables right now. So I think this is not really a challenge, but more of an opportunity. And very happy to hear that now people can choose purely green energy for their businesses as well. So I think a lot of exciting things happening here.
Okay, maybe we have one last question from those who are watching online. Do we have only plan to ramp up the EV production? What is the waste management for EV battery plant?
I believe that we are in the early stage of the EV industry in Thailand, and in the near future there will be many new players that coming to invest in Thailand, and this will also create huge opportunities in EV related business, including the battery recycling and waste management. Because when we build the EV industry in Thailand, in the near future, the battery recycling will be an important issue. So, and it will also create the business opportunity in this field as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think just like Kunarit covered about the waste management part of things. Definitely, there will be an opportunity to do something here because we're looking all up and down the supply chain, right? Reve ourselves is all about basically decarbonization. So we look from let's say the left side to the right side of the supply chain. So we've been looking at this market very, very closely. As of now, it's not, the way that it's being done is that logistically we would send it out to be recycled, right? We're not there yet. I see that the inflection point for where battery recycling will hit its inflection point is probably around 2027. So we still have some time. I think there's currently a lot of R&D going on in terms of the recycling part. We're also looking into a lot of things. So yeah, before 2027, there should be something quite interesting happening in the battery field.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe a quick summary. Thailand has set a clear goal to be an EV production hub. And we have 30-30 policy, which target 30% of auto production to be EV by 2020. And the government has offered a number of incentives to the whole EV ecosystem. And so far, the BOI has approved a number of projects with a combined investment value of over 75 billion baht. And that's mainly from big Chinese EV makers like BYD, Great Wall, SAIC, Chang'an Automobile. And so we still see a lot of opportunities throughout the EV supply chain. And that sums up our key discussion today. I would like to thank you, our two panelists here, Kunarit Thirsathirasak, Secretary General, Thailand's Board of Investment, and Kun Prathanporn Pornprapha, Vice CEO of Reve Automotive. Thank you very much, Ka. Thank you for sharing your thought and valuable insights with us. And thank you all for joining our session. Have a great day and Sawasdee Ka.
Thank you very much, the panelists and moderator, for a very fascinating discussion. So the electric vehicle EV industry has become a very red hot topic in today's world. It's fascinating to see how various countries, including Thailand, are responding to this trend. And today we have a platform that brings together the BOI, the Board of Investment, and representatives from the private sector to delve in the Thailand approach to this rapidly evolving industry. Ladies and gentlemen, may I take this opportunity to inform all the participants, both online and on-site, who wish to listen and watch the past seminar can go to website of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, www.setz.or.th/Thailand Focus. All the recorded video will be available and uploaded in there. And for the next session, the potential of Thailand thriving soft power, we are privileged to welcome individuals who have played a pivotal role in crafting this soft power as they share their experience and insight with us. We have Chief Marketing Officer Siam Wellness Group, Mr. Naran Viwatthanakrai, Chief Executive Officer and Co-founder of Global Sport Ventures, Mr. Tianchai Pisit Buttinan, and Chief Executive Officer S&P Syndicate, Mr. Witun Silaon. Head of Equity Research, Kiatnakin Phatra Securities, Mr. Thitithep Noppaket will be our moderator for this session. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome all the panelists and the moderator for this session.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Thailand Soft Power session. My name is Thitithep Noppaket. I'm the analyst at the KKPS. I will be your host for this session. Now, when I know that I have to be the host, I look it up, the word soft power. And then the Oxford Dictionary said that it's a power of a nation deriving from economic and cultural influence rather than military strength. Okay, and then actually Thailand has not done that badly when it comes to soft power. In the Global Soft Power Index last year, Thailand ranked 35th out of 120 countries, so that's not too bad. And then the government, our previous government has come up with a 5F policy to promote Thailand's soft power. These 5F are food, film, fashion, fighting, and then festival. Okay, and today we are honored to have executives from the three firms that help promote Thai soft power in the global market. We have Kun Witun Silaon, CEO of S&P Syndicate.
สวัสดีครับ
We have Kun Tianchai Pisit Buttinan, CEO and co-founder of Global Sport Venture.
สวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ
And then we have Kun Naran Viwatthanakrai, Chief Marketing Officer of Siam Wellness Group or SPA.
สวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ
First, we would have a brief video introducing, the operation of each firm, and then we get to the Q&A. let's start the discussion. Since we want to talk about Thailand's soft power to the world, so let me start from asking the panelists on what proportion of the revenue come from the foreign client. It doesn't matter. It could come from, foreigner coming to Thailand and visit your branch, or your, revenue from your branch overseas. Let's start from Kun Naran.
So good afternoon. Thank you SET Thailand for inviting us to be the panelists. So for Siam Wellness Group, we have been doing the business in spa industry for 25 years. Our brands are quite well known for the East Asian market. So I think the proportion before COVID was 70% foreigners and 30% locals. And currently, after the rebound of tourism sector, we are doing about 60-40 at the moment. 60% foreigners and 40% from locals. Most of them are from East Asia, so China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japanese, Korean. And we also are trying to diversify into new markets like Middle East, some European countries, as well as some Australian. Thank you.
Okay. You have American client or from Australia? Do you have a client from America or Australia?
Few. I think because U.S. clients and European clients, especially from the Western Europe, they've been to Thailand for many years and they experience Thai massage from the high end to the low end. So I guess there have been some of a fraction of our customers, but the majority we focus on East Asia.
Right. Okay. And let's move on to Kun Bang ครับคุณเทียนชัย
ครับ so first of all our company is Global Sport Ventures or GSV. And within our business, we have, I would say, two main parts of the business to make it simpler to understand. The first one is the stadium business or the venue business.
ราชดำเนิน
Ratchdamnern Stadium, we partner, invest, and now we have the exclusive license to run Ratchdamnern Stadium. So for Ratchdamnern Stadium, the revenue streams would be from ticketing, food and beverages, and merchandising. And in the future, we might have some other experience, for example, museum and training for Muay Thai. This is the first part. The second part, I would say, is the program business, the media part of the business, where we have events and we broadcast the shows, the events in Thailand and also all over the world. Right now, we partner with the biggest sports streaming platform called The Zone to broadcast our flagship program called RWS or Ratchdamnern World Series to over 200 countries and territories around the world already. And that would be the second part, right? But for overall, both parts combined, I would say the proportion between Thai source of revenue and international or foreigners' source of revenue would be around 50-50 at the moment. Okay. But if we talk about the venue business or the stadium, I would say it's around 80-20, where 80% is tourists.
Foreigners.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So when you talk about the ticket sales, you have the Muay Thai fighting on every night.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes. Actually, yes. This year is the first year that we have Muay Thai events 7 days a week already, every night. And
it starts in the evening?
It starts in the evening. It depends on the night, but normally it would be around more or less 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. But this is the first time, I would say, in the history of the Muay Thai industry that we have a stadium that have events every day, every single day in Bangkok.
Oh, okay. Wow, and 80% of the tickets are sold to the foreigner.
Yes.
I heard that your ticket it's not cheap. It's quite more than 1,000 baht per ticket.
Yes, it ranges from right now our most expensive ticket would be 4,500, and it ranges from
4,500.
Yes, it ranges from 4,500 to, and we have 3,500, 2,500, 1,800, and around 1,000 depending on the day. I would say we are the highest ticket price point for sport event in Thailand, and fortunately we have a very strong foreigners or tourist fan base as of now, and that's why we can still grow our ticketing revenue
Right.
year over year.
Right, and I heard that the tickets are sold out on the Saturday night. That is the most popular
Yes.
Muay Thai matches.
Yes, for some of the nights, but then the growth rate has been very good for us. So we have been lucky and we have been fortunate that the business has been growing very well, especially on the Saturday night.
Right, okay. And Kun Naran said that when we talk about the foreign client, his client mainly come from the East Asia. And how about, the foreigner who bought the ticket to see your Muay Thai fighting? Are they also from East Asia or they are from all over the world?
So for the past, I would say decade for Ratchadamnern Stadium, most of our foreigner audience came from Europe mainly. But in the past 2 years since we joined with Ratchadamnern, we have been trying and working very hard in growing other parts of the world as well. So I would say as of now, the proportion of ticketing sales to European audience would be around 40%, and the proportion from other countries in Asia would be around 35% already.
Right. Wow, okay. And Kun Vitun Kap on S&P, because you also have a Thai restaurant overseas. I remember I visited Phatra restaurant in Singapore before COVID.
S&P has been around for 50 years now. This is our 50th anniversary. And we're a restaurant and bakery by trade. We do have some other businesses like retail business in the supermarkets, a tiny bit of export, and also some institutional catering and things like that as well. We do produce products for other brands also. But basically our business mostly is in Bangkok. We have 2/3 of our business is in Bangkok, and the rest is in upcountry, and about 10% is outside overseas. So in terms of foreign customers, I would estimate about 10% overseas plus maybe another 10 to 15% domestically, so 20-25%.
Right.
And mostly it would be visitors who visit Thailand. So a lot of Asians, a lot of Europeans, Americans. So
Like to
mixed,
sample Thai food.
quite mixed. Yes.
Right.
So yeah, and we do have outlets at the airport as well. So foreigners do get to have a taste or preview of
Thai food.
of Thai food before they on their way in or on their way out.
And which city and which country that you have restaurant operating, and is it under S&P
We
brand
have
or?
we used to have many countries after COVID. Now we have only in London, in Vienna, and in Phnom Penh. So in Phnom Penh is S&P, so it's the only S&P outlets outside of Thailand. So, but it's very close. And Phatra is a higher-end Thai restaurant concept, and it's named after my mother, the founder and the chairman. So, but Phatra has been open for 30 years in London. So, and now we have 6 in London. We have 1 in Vienna currently.
Oh, you have 6 Phatra.
We used to have in Singapore, in Geneva, in Beijing, but yeah, now closed because of different circumstances.
Right. Wow. Okay. And then when we talk about our product or the service, since I cover media sector, and when I talk to B0 or One, they always say, the soap opera or the movie that do well in Thailand tend not to do well overseas, and vice versa. So when they make the soap opera, they have to have a clear idea in mind from beginning that, which group that they try to serve, because the tastes are different. Now, the question is that, do you have to, because all of you have a big portion of foreign client, do you have to amend your product or service in order to serve the foreign client. Let's start from Kunaran because I love to go to have a massage at the small shop opposite Wat Po. I think that's a real Thai. So if I go to Let's Relax, is it exactly the same or you have to change it a little bit to suit your foreign client?
I think for us, as time changes, we have divert some of our product and services to match with the customer's needs. As we are a mid-scale boutique day spa, we provide 5 sensory experiences for the customers. So it's sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. So what we do is, of course, Thai massage has been in Thailand for many generations. Has been passed on from the know-how of the Sukhothai and Ayutthaya region. But of course, as a professional spa operators, what we do is we're trying to mix between the know-hows and the academic, meaning that the health concerns of the safety of providing a service. So that's why we want to build a chain of spas that provide professional spa services that can cater to all our visitors from around the world. Of course, some techniques in the traditional Thai massage may not be safe for the body, so we have adapted and trying to make sure that what we offer is best for our clients. So to answer the questions, I think yes, we have adapted a little bit to our own style because to build a brand, to build a professional chain of spas, we need to have our unique concept. So we not only provide the basic touch of Thai massage, but we're doing something more deeper into the experience, like the music we play in the spa, it goes with the beats of your heart to make sure you rest well while you are doing the spa here. We also added elements like mango and sticky rice. It's something that all the less relaxed customers will enjoy after the massage. Right. It's a little bit of pleasure. It's not too healthy, but I guess it's a treat for you after a good exercise on the bed, massage bed.
Right. Yeah, because as a regular to the Thai massage, I can confirm that some of the technique is quite hurtful. But if I go to your spa, no matter in Thailand or in China, the service are all the same.
Yes, the step-up service will be the same, but we have a variety of treatments to suit the different groups of customers. Of course, the gentlemen will like strong, heavy massage, so I would recommend like Thai massage or hot stone. Whereas the ladies, first time they might want to try something authentic, so they'll go for a Thai massage. But some stretching may be too strong, so they'll go for a lighter one like aromatherapy or warm oil massage.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to Kun Vithun. When you serve the foreign client or your restaurant in London, is the food as spicy as the authentic Thai food here, or you have to adjust it a little bit to be milder, or you want it to be authentic?
Authentic is actually Phatra. The slogan is authentically different. I think every service business, including restaurants, you need to start, or actually any business, you need to start with the customer in mind. So right. Our restaurant in London, if you ask if the taste is the same as in Bangkok, Phatra in Bangkok, we have one also. Not exactly. And as the one in Vienna, no, not exactly. Or the S&P in Phnom Penh and S&P in Bangkok, will the taste be a little bit different? Yes. Right. Because the reason is we make it different intentionally because we research what the customer would want in that that particular city
customer-centric approach.
Yes. So and the menu mix is also different in each city. So because of local preferences, it will be a little bit different. For instance, like in Cambodia, it's not as the taste is not as sweet, because in Thailand the taste is sweeter, but if you serve the same taste to the Phnom Penh customer, they will say it's too sweet. So So we need to adjust to the local taste, but still keep it authentic because we use authentic raw materials and
The
Thai
ingredient
chefs
you,
and everything.
you adjust the taste a little bit.
Yes, yes.
So it means before you open the restaurant in each of the city, you have to do a bit of a study.
Yes, we
And
have
adjust
to
the menu.
to do. But after we open, we still need to, as we learn,
Adjust.
as we understand more, we adjust to the, because we do have the customer satisfaction survey after, and we get details from there. You know what customers like and don't like, and we try to modify to what they like best.
Right. Now it's after COVID. I know COVID is a tough time for restaurant. Do you plan to open more branch overseas? Because Thai food is very popular worldwide right now.
Yes, it is. It is, and we do plan to open more, but if locally we're definitely opening more. But then overseas we're looking at maybe franchising or partnership, local partnership. And the good thing about having joint venture or local partnership is the local partner understands the taste of the customer in that location better than us. So they can help us in that regard as well.
Right. Okay. And Kun Bang Krap, my understanding is that the Muay Thai at Ratchanamnern, it's not exactly like Muay Thai in the all day. I think I read your interview that you adjust it a little bit to make it more entertaining. Can you tell us more about that?
ครับ so I think in one way we are quite fortunate in the business that we are in the way that fighting is quite a universal language. It's in our human DNA since the beginning of time. Let's say if there's someone fighting in the back of the room, everyone will go and look what's going on. And if someone get knocked out, then it's easy to understand who's winning. So in that sense, we are fortunate that the very core of the business or the program is easy to understand. But I think to answer your question, what we do in everything we do at Ratchanamnern, both in terms of stadium and in terms of program, what we always try to do is that we keep the core identity of Muay Thai. We don't change it, but we change or adapt in terms of the delivery, the packaging, or and the standard of the stadium and also of the program of Muay Thai. I think since the 2 years that we have been in the business, we found out that most audience, especially tourists, they really like the authenticity of Muay Thai and everything that is about the art and the architecture of Ratchanamnern and of Muay Thai. So that's what we want to keep, and that's what we want to keep on communicating and building up upon, especially because Ratchanamnern Stadium is the first Muay Thai stadium in the history of the world. It is the birthplace of the professional sport of Muay Thai since almost 80 years ago. So we have the almost a responsibility to make sure that we keep that identity. So what we do, for example, when we renovate and rebrand the stadium, our mission has always been to keep the history, the character, and the identity of Muay Thai with the stadium. We always talk internally when we were working on the design of the renovation that we hope that Ratchanamnern Stadium can be almost like a Broadway theater in New York, when someone walk in front and see the stadium, they know that this is a place that is full of history.
Or like the Madison Square Garden.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's a classic place, but it's also modern and attractive for new generation of fans or guests from all around the world who want to come in. But when they walk into the stadium, we want them to feel like, this is a world-class sports stadium that we do not really have that much in Thailand. For example, in the U.S., people might go on a date during the weekend in NBA stadium, or people in Europe might take their children and have like a family time in football stadium in Europe. We want to be that place for Thailand, and also we want to be the place that people can come and learn about the culture of Muay Thai. And you mentioned about some rules of the Muay Thai fights that we have. What we do is that we try to keep all the core identity and character of Muay Thai. We promote the art of 8 limbs. We encourage all the fighters to use all the arts, both offense and defense of Muay Thai, the Mae Mai Muay Thai or Muay Thai skills. We encourage them to use that. We keep and also support like the other arts, for example, Wai Kru, the ceremony
Or before
before
the
each
start.
fight, and also the Pi Muay, the music in Muay Thai, in order to keep all the identity
Oh, you have
of
that
Muay
at
Thai.
Ratchadamnern.
Yes, we have that. And
I got to see that.
and people love it, and all the tourists really love it. It was when we went in, we were not 100% sure whether people would like it or not. But right now, we are, I would say, 100% sure that all the tourists really want to come and learn about our culture and want to see the true identity of Muay Thai. But we change a little bit, adapt a little bit some of the rules so that it's easier for new fans to understand. For example, easiest example would be for RWS. We are the first professional Muay Thai event that adopt open scoring system. What it means is that when the round 1 ends, you know the score of the first round. When the round 2 ends, you know the score, right? Versus the traditional way of you have to wait until the 5th round, then you know the result. We were the first one who did that, and by doing that, it's more transparent and simpler for new fans to understand. Our goal is for example, new fans in country, like for example, someone from Spain who never watched Muay Thai ever in their life, if they turn on their TV and see RWS, they have to be able to understand Muay Thai right away, and they have to be able to become new fans of Muay Thai right away. So that's what we try to do.
Right. So you sell authenticity, but you present it in a more modern way,
Yes.
and the way that make it easier for the foreigner to understand.
Exactly. ครับ
Right.
Yes.
ครับผมคุณนรันท์ครับ you have overseas spa as well, but in the past 3 years it's not the right time to expand because we had COVID. Now the COVID is over, and then Thai massage, it's I think it's worldwide popular. I watch the American series, and then they talk about Thai massage all the time. Do you have any plan to expand the overseas branch?
I think with the current announcement that Thailand Thai massage was recently been selected by UNESCO as a second intangible cultural heritage after Khon, which is a Thai traditional dance in the late 2019, just right before COVID. I think that's the right benchmark for us to explore the overseas market. I think it lift up the standards and the positioning of Thai massage to another level that UNESCO certify. So of course, I think similar to Community Tunes is that with COVID, we have had some challenges during the past 3 years in adapting to the new way of life. But eventually, we believe that the people will still go back to societies to socialize with each other, and also going back to offline events. Being Thai massage is one of the activities I think very common for locals and foreigners when they spend many days working hard, but also relaxing hard as well on the weekends. So to answer the questions, I think exploring the opportunities overseas is still on our plan. But I think in the short term, we'll still focus pretty much on domestic expansion. But I think with the right partners and the opportunities arise in the overseas market, we are also looking to explore into that.
But when you open the branch overseas, is it under the franchise model or is your own investment?
In the past, it was under franchise agreement. But I think we learn many things, the advantages and disadvantages. So we have learned and adapt. And I think after COVID, we will see maybe few new options to see like joint ventures or maybe a partnership into overseas market.
Right ครับคุณวิทูลครับ during COVID time the way we eat it's and I think it changed because we couldn't go out so we order the food delivery by Grab or by Line or by Robinhood and even the COVID is over I still use Grab to deliver food to my house do you think that have any material impact on the restaurant and how did you adapt to that new culture to that new behavior
Actually, COVID actually started the delivery boom. So I think for us at that time, everybody had to switch to delivery because you couldn't eat inside the restaurant. But for us, we adapted pretty well because we have our own delivery already at that time, but it's very small. It was pre-COVID. It was about 5%. During COVID, maybe 25, and then now it's settled to about 15% of our. So actually, our delivery grew about 3 times. But we have our own delivery system service number as well 1344, and also we use partnership with the aggregators which. Help us expand the reach of the market. And I think all in all, it's a new habit that is staying with us. So we've adapted to it, and now it's another source of revenue for us, which is good actually.
Right. Okay. And Kun Bangครับ I heard from Plan B, your partner, that you enter into a deal with DAZN. Which is the sport application from the Middle East, very popular. My understanding is that it's still sort of a pilot project to broadcast, the Muay Thai from Ratchadamnern to overseas client. Can you tell us more about that? And over the long term, let's say in the next 5 years, do you think that, you should have some advertising income, I suppose? And would that become a main income? Compared to the ticket sales right now?
Definitely. So a few months ago, we just entered a partnership with DAZN, which is actually UK based.
Oh, is it UK? I'm sorry.
No worries. It's a UK based sports streaming platform, and actually as of now, DAZN is the biggest sports streaming OTT platform in the world in terms of revenue already. They have many big sport properties licensed in many countries around the world. For example, I think they have exclusive license for La Liga in Spain, Calcio Serie A in Italy, and they have F1 in many countries. They have exclusive license for J League in Japan and Champions Leagues in many countries. So and also UFC in many countries. So I think it was a very big step for us a few months ago that we were able to partner with DAZN. And right now, RWS, our flagship program, is being broadcasted in over 200 countries and territories around the world outside Thailand. I think it's a very big step for us. And in the future, definitely, same as any other sport properties around the world, media rights and sponsorship can take a very big proportion in terms of revenue of the company. I think in another sense, our business model is quite different from other sport property in terms of we have our own stadium. And our stadium can be both a sports stadium and a tourist destination as well. So in that sense, we are very fortunate that we have a very strong base in terms of venue business that we can grow it, I think even more than 10 times more than where we are right now. And in short and medium term, I think the two business can grow together 50-50. But for the very long term, our goal is to definitely grow in terms of international broadcasting because we really believe that Muay Thai can be a global sport.
Right. And DAZN, it is a subscription service or is it advertising-based service?
Their main business is subscription. They have 60 million pool of subscribers, I think,
wow.
throughout the history of the company in many countries. And they're very big in Europe and in some countries like Japan and Taiwan. But right now they are having other models as well. For example, they have pay-per-view as well. And their vision is to become more than a sports streaming platform, but they want to be an all-in-one sport platform where people can buy maybe ticketing on their platform and follow the news as well.
Right, so you sell the content to them?
Yeah, we partner with them.
All right, okay. And you also talk to other broadcasters in other parts of the world?
Yes, exactly. In a few other countries, we partner with other broadcasters as well.
Right,
For example, we just announced a few days ago that we are partnering with a fast channel company called Swerve, which will broadcast RWS in the United States and in Canada.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's interesting because my understanding is that when we sell movie or drama to overseas, there's a certain level of language barrier. But then for sport, for Muay Thai, I suppose there's no language barrier. You don't have to understand Thai to understand the Muay Thai.
Exactly. Yes, I think 95% of the content in Muay Thai is quite simple to understand. People can watch the game, but in some market, we would have local language commentators who would commentate and educate the audience to make it more fun, educate about the rules of Muay Thai and educate the audience in terms of the background stories of each fighter. For example, we are having a big event with Pibo Khao and a Japanese fighter in September. So in that particular event, we are partnering with local team in Japan, local DAZN's team in Japan, to make a lot of Japanese content for the Japanese audience to be able to follow the story of the fight and the background of each fighter.
Right. That sounds very interesting. The next question is for Kun Naran and Kun Vichun. Maybe start from Kun Vichun. I think nowadays a shortage of labor. That's why we have to bring in a lot of people from the neighboring countries. And then I believe the new government is talking about raising the minimum wage. So is it a shortage of labor or, the labor cost inflation a big problem for your business? And how do you plan to solve that? I see a lot of restaurants now, they use the robot to, but I haven't seen one in S&P yet.
We have also, but...
Oh, you do have?
Yes, but not many yet, because I think labor will definitely be a big part of any service business. So you need to balance, how much labor you need to use to run your operation. But you see from examples for restaurants in countries where the wages are a lot higher. So the people skills, they need to be able to do more. One person needs to be able to do a lot more. So in terms of training, having multiple skill staff, having more skilled staff, that's one thing that we are doing. So one staff used to be doing one thing, but now they maybe doing three things. And the other thing is using technology. It could become in terms of robot, or it could be in terms of systems, which makes it easier for the staff to serve the customer. So now, in terms of payment, now a lot of us will use the digital payment, and it's actually easier than paper money. and it saves time for the staff as well when you just scan and pay.
Shorten the process.
So there are a lot of things that we can do, like for example, in our stores now we're rolling out the automatic coffee machine. So it's easier to operate and actually faster to make the drinks. So there are things that we need to put in more technology, more equipment, and also we need to also reorganize our training and make our people more more skilled.
Right.
Also.
There are restaurants in Japan that you order food through the iPad,
Yeah.
and then the food is delivered on the rail.
Yeah.
So it's almost human
So in
free.
Japan, there's only one person in the store.
Yeah,
you
that's
actually
true.
order and then you
That's
go and sit
everything.
and wait for the food. So it's it will evolve, but then you need to balance what's the total experience that the customer wants and what they're willing to pay for, and how much labor you need. So it's always a constant redesign or
Adjustment.
rebalance.
Right. And Kun Naran, because I believe that the personnel is probably one of the success factor for your business. But do you face the labor shortage or the labor cost inflation?
I think in the short term, I think most of the hospitality business, hotels, restaurants, including spas, has faced shortages because of the change of the behavior in the short term because of COVID and the restrictions from the government to restrict some of the operations in 2020 and 21. But I think after the post-COVID, with the recovery of the tourism industry, I think whichever employers give the best practices or the best offers for the employees, not only in monetary terms, but also in career path, in training, in upskilling the skills. I think they are moving towards those employers. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to encourage all the learning process, having the career path for the therapist from level 1 to level 4, then becoming instructor. We also have our own academy to develop our workforces to make sure that the step of service are all consistent and the same. So I think this is what we offer comparing to the competitors. So second question is I think in terms of the minimum wage, I think because we are a skilled labor, I think we focus on the premium. I think technology will not replace the service provided by the therapist because the therapist knows the anatomy, they can communicate well with the customers. When you want a quick, a heart pressure massage on your left arms, for example, after you may working too hard, I think the machine will not respond to that well. But for our therapists, I think they've been trained and they have experience servicing customers from around the world. I think that's what we keep us apart from the traditional spas that may divert a little bit into technology.
Right, yeah. I cannot imagine technology replacing your therapist. There is this massage chair, right? It doesn't work.
Massage chair has been in the market for over 20 years. I think it can provide you a standard, quick recovery. But I think in the long term, it has to be customized a little bit.
Right, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, the last question for every panelist. We had a new Prime Minister yesterday, finally. As a company who promote Thai soft power to the world, would you like government to adopt any policy that that would make it easier for you to penetrate the world market? Maybe let's start from Kun Bitoon,ครับ.
I think it's we'll talk about soft power today. So I think in terms of food, for instance, it's very important that the government takes, builds a good ecosystem and a good standard, a high bar of standard for all our soft power. But for food, it's very important that we recognize and build a system where we recognize the quality of the ingredients, because we live in a country where we grow very, very good ingredients. They're very good fruits, vegetables, and everything. So we need a system that really recognize and promote, the quality of our already very good raw materials. And we also need a system where we promote and also train the chefs, like a chef school that maybe in Europe they have a lot of the schools, very good schools, to train the chefs from the very, very young. So they are very ingrained, not just the knowledge, but the system in terms of doing it the right way as well. So I think that is something that needs to be supported and make sure that we hold the highest bar, because we are Thai, we own the Thai food, so we need to make sure we are the one who keep the bar high.
Keep up the standard.
Yeah, and also in the ecosystem, there are people who will evaluate the food, food critics and whatnot. So they need to be able to uplift, the standard of Thai food. Where if you want Thai food, the best Thai food, you definitely have to come to Thailand. And there are so many levels of best Thai food in each category, in each level, in each area, region, whatever. So those are things that need to be done together, but all together it's basically lifting the soft power of Thai food to the world.
Right ครับผมคุณแบงค์ครับ
Yes, definitely. I think government can definitely play a big part in supporting all of the soft power, the 5 Fs, and all the soft power of Thailand, especially Muay Thai. For us, Ratchanamnern Stadium is actually one of the few authorized standard Muay Thai stadium in Thailand, or in Thai it's called Sanam Muay Matatan. And there's only a few in Thailand. And in that sense, we have been working very closely with the government in many aspects. For example, in terms of the rules of Muay Thai, the easy example would be what I mentioned, the open scoring for Muay Thai. RWS was the first professional Muay Thai program that used open scoring system. But then we proved that it's a good way of developing and growing Muay Thai, because it makes the sport easier to understand. So I think as of now, the government is encouraging and supporting all the Muay Thai programs in the country to adopt the same rules. So in that sense, I think this type of collaboration between us, all the private parties, and the government will really help grow the sport of Muay Thai to be soft power of Thailand. And I think there are many other aspects that we can work together to promote Muay Thai as a soft power, as a sport to the world. And we can definitely work together with the government to grow that. And I think we really believe that Muay Thai, in a way, can be the new K-pop of the world as well, where the private sector and the public sector and the government can work together very well to really grow this thing to the world.
Right ครับผม and คุณนรันท์ครับ
So I think for us, wellness and tourism remain the mega trends for Thailand. I think Thailand, I heard this morning's panel saying that tourism will be still the only sector that will drive the Thailand's economy in the short run because of the higher wage costs, higher energy costs, etc. And I think we are unique in our way of our Thai hospitality. I think that's a little bit difficult to disrupt. Secondly, I think the government can support. I think in terms of the ecosystem that Kun Vitun said, I think from the laborers, making sure that they are confident to tell the others that they are trained massage therapists. They're happy to share to their work, their family, their friends and families that they are doing a technical skills labor, and getting the right amount of rewards for that. Also, they have the career path to grow. Second, I think it's the standards that we want to build. As I know that the Thailand government is focusing more on quality tourists rather than quantity, which is on the right directions. I think we want to offer the best of Thai resources in the tourism industry to the certain segment that willing to pay that premium for it. We don't want more quantity, but we want more on a quality. So I think they are doing that way. I think will be a good collaboration between the public and the private sector. And thirdly, I think it's the support in terms of, I think as I mentioned earlier, that Thai massage has been recognized by UNESCO since 2019, but there's very few mentioning on the press. I think if they're doing a good campaign of delivering that soft power, I think Thai massage without a doubt cannot be competed with other massage techniques from around the world. I think we are the best.
And that's all the time we have for today. I do hope that you understand a bit more about Thai soft power. I would like to thank you all the panelists and thank you all the audience for attending. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, all the panelists and our moderator, for a very insightful session. Ladies and gentlemen, another interesting area that we should explore further is ESG, which stands for Environmental, Social and Governance. ESG is undeniably the prevailing trend today. Our last session today on world-class practices in sustainability. The focus today is on showcase of Thai capital market that achieve world-class ESG practices. We receive an honor from Chief Sustainability Officer, Thai Union Group, Mr. Adam Brennan, Chief Sustainability Officer, SCG Group, Mr. Chana Phumi, and Executive Vice President Sustainability, PTT Global Chemical, Dr. Chaya Chantavasu. Our Vice President Head of Sustainability Education, the Stock Exchange of Thailand, Ms. Pimpan Disakunna Ayuthaya will be our moderator for the session. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me to welcome all the panelists and the moderator for this session.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the last panel of Thailand Focus 2023. Well, in this session, we have gathered here to delve into the world of sustainability and to explore into the world-class practices that are shaping the future of the global economy. Alongside the climate catastrophe, the global boiling situation that we are facing now, the capital market is also under intense pressure due to the fast and overwhelming transition towards sustainable business development and investment from multi-stakeholder. This year, Thai listed companies have once again outperformed their ASEAN peers when benchmarked against the global sustainability indices such as the DJSI, FTSE for Good, the MSCI ESG. And last year, 167 Thai listed companies were qualified for the Thailand Sustainability Investment List, or the THSI, which account for about 74% of total market capitalization, a 10% increase from the previous year. And this achievement can be attributed to our early and continued commitment to sustainable capital market development after the Tom Yam Goong crisis in 1997. That important lesson has taught the Thai private sector the importance of good governance, balancing growth, and building resilience. So we have been well prepared for quite some time, and so have been quickly working on all fronts to develop necessary infrastructure and foster the ecosystem for the ESG to sustain healthy growth for all. Well, today we are very fortunate to have prominent corporate sustainability leaders from 3 global companies with us. And over the next 60 minutes, they will be providing us with insights on what they have planned to deal with the challenges and the business strategies that they have to navigate through ESG risk and also materialize zero emission and inclusive growth. Well, let me first start with Mr. Adam Brennan, Sustainability Officer, Chief Sustainability Officer, Thai Union Group, or TU. Well, Thai Union has been recognized for its sustainability efforts and commitment. So could you please share some specific initiatives or projects, especially under the newly launched Sea Change 2030 strategy that have been and will be instrumental in driving sustainable growth within the company?
Sure. So first of all, thank you for the invitation and to the SEC for putting on this event. So for Thai Union, sustainability is not new. We launched our first Sea Change sustainability strategy back in 2016. And over the last few years, we've been working on kind of 2 core areas that are most prominent for Thai Union. And those are really tackling biodiversity issues. Given that we are a seafood company, we are reliant on the health of the world's oceans. And so we have a duty, we have a responsibility, and we have an accountability to act to make sure that we protect those precious resources. And then the other area that we've been focusing on is really on the social and labor aspects of the seafood industry as well, making sure that those workers down the supply chain are protected. Thai Union don't own any fishing vessels, but that doesn't mean that we don't have an accountability and again a responsibility to protect those workers down the supply chain. And so we focused on these 2 core areas, and we're very proud of all the progress that we've made over the last years. We're widely regarded in the seafood sector as trying to lead the way in showing what a more responsible sector can look like. But we also acknowledge that the term leadership is not a stagnant definition. Only because we are leaders today in 2023 doesn't mean that we can continue as we are and still be leaders in 2030. And so a few weeks ago, we launched our new sustainability strategy called Sea Change 2030. And I'll just take you through some of the core components of that strategy so that you can understand what are the solutions that we will be implementing across our global portfolio down our supply chain over the next few years. So first of all, when we launched, we were very keen to make sure that this is not just yet a new sustainability strategy that is put out there that doesn't have rigor behind it in terms of actual implementation. And so when we launched the strategy, we wanted to make sure that Thai Union was dedicating the necessary resources to actually implement and execute successfully. Okay, so with our new strategy, we will be dedicating and investing our entire net profit from 2022 towards our sustainability strategy towards 2030. That is $200 million. With our 2030 plan, we want to make sure that this is helping to reshape the seafood industry. Given our size, given our leverage across global supply chains, we believe that we can help deliver unified solutions for both people and for planet. But also, sustainability is not new for Thai Union, as I said in my introduction. We've been working on this since 2016, and to date, we have already invested over $100 million into our Sea Change program. So now we look at doubling this to $200 million between now and 2030. But we also have to look at some of the drivers in why we have embarked on this journey. And the first one is really around trying to truly be a leader. I mentioned the health of the world's oceans is absolutely critical, given that we are reliant on a natural resource. So we have a responsibility to act as an industry leader and to pave the way in terms of what good looks like. But also, regulations are increasing around the world. Our customers' expectations that we supply into are also increasing. And more of the work that we started in 2016 today is licensed to operate. We also, as I said, want to protect that long-term resource. And so we believe that as we look towards low-carbon economy, we look towards a circular economy, a lot of the initiatives that we are starting on now in the long term is a must for business success. But we also see a business opportunity here as well. Thai Union supply into some of the world's biggest retailers around the world. They are also setting their own sustainability commitments, and they are looking for partners in countries like Thailand, with suppliers like Thai Union, who can successfully execute and implement some of those commitments. And then lastly, there is also an opportunity there around operating efficiency as well. So a number of different drivers in terms of why we've embarked on this journey. Within the strategy, there are ultimately two thematic pillars, for people and for planet. And under these two pillars are really 5 future outcomes that we are targeting. The first is human and labor rights. We operate in the seafood industry. As I mentioned, we don't own any vessels. But the industry can be high risk without providing the necessary due diligence tools down the supply chain to make sure that those workers are protected. So this has been a core part of our strategy since 2016 and will remain a core focus as we move forwards. But we're also going to be focusing much more on health and wellness. Global populations are increasing. The opportunity to provide healthy, nutritious protein from the ocean is huge, but it has to be done responsibly. Okay, so we really want to be supporting health and wellness, providing positive nutrition. And then there are 3 other areas on the planet side. Climate change, I think, needs no introduction. Biodiversity now has emerged as its own global crisis beneath the shadows of kind of climate change as an urgent area that needs to be tackled, as well as circularity. So these are the 5 core areas that we'll be focusing on as we look towards 2030. But I don't want to take up too much time. I just want to focus on 3 core areas. The first is really around supporting a net zero economy by 2050. Thai Union have set both short-term and long-term targets that are aligned with the 1.5 degree pathway. So by 2030, we want to achieve a minus 42% reduction in scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. And for Thai Union, 90% of our footprint is with scope 3. We also want to make sure that all of the wild-caught seafood that we're catching is done so responsibly and in line with the best scientific advice. And then we also want to be driving responsible aquaculture as well. A huge part of Thai Union's business is on shrimp. We're the largest importer of frozen shrimp into the United States. That comes from countries like Thailand, but also around the world. And we want to make sure that, again, we're protecting biodiversity and we're driving best practices in our aquaculture supply chain. There are 8 other commitments that round out the strategy. And with this, we are tackling all of the relevant SDGs that are important for Thai Union. I won't take you through all of those now, but hopefully that's a glimpse of the direction that we'll go in by 2030.
Well, you have a very ambitious target, and your operation is very extensive. No? So my next question would be how the Thai Union engage with its supply chain partners to ensure sustainable practices throughout the entire value chain. And are there any notable collaborations or partnerships that have been successful in promoting sustainability and driving positive change in the seafood industry as a whole?
Yeah, I think a really good question. I think this is a really ambitious strategy. And people often ask, well, you know, now that you set your sights on implementation, how are you going to go about doing this? And I think one of the things that we recognize is that it's really going to take an ecosystem of stakeholders to really ensure our successful delivery of some of these ambitious commitments. And there are a number of different stakeholders that we need to be engaging with. One area that we've been very successful with in the past is really collaborating with NGOs. Thai Union has worked with some of the biggest NGOs in this space to deliver real pragmatic results as we've gone through our sustainability transformation over the last 5 to 6 years. Today, we work with 2 of the biggest NGOs in this space. We work with the Nature Conservancy. And the program that we have with the Nature Conservancy is actually around installing electronic monitoring on board the vessels. Now, when we look at providing due diligence to vessels, when they leave the port, we have limited ability to understand what goes on board that vessel. So together with the Nature Conservancy, we're installing best-in-class technology so that we can understand what happens when that vessel is at port and to make sure that they're adhering to our requirements and regulations. Another area that we've been working on is with fish stocks and really trying to protect endangered, threatened and protected species. So we have a partnership with the Sustainable Fisheries Partnership, who are based in the US, but they're a global NGO who are advising Thai Union on what we can do to mitigate the risk of catching what we call non-targeted species. And if we do catch those species, how can we try and release those species unharmed? So for us, the NGOs have a critical role to play because we don't have all the knowledge, and we certainly don't always have that knowledge on the ground. So making sure that we have partnerships with NGOs like the ones I just mentioned is critical for us. But another area is on the academic side. The industry has huge research needs, right? And the ability to tap into the academic universe is extremely important for the private sector. We're a part of an organization called CBOS, which is the 9 largest seafood companies in the world. And through this partnership, we work with universities around the world to connect scientific briefs and translate that into action that private sector companies like Thai Union and others can begin to take. So there's a number of different stakeholders that need to be involved, and I think they've played a critical role in getting Thai Union to where we are today, and they will continue to play that critical role as we move forwards.
It's very interesting and encouraging to see how you engage all sectors, and it's actually, we probably really need to engage everyone to go through this transformation, sustainability transformation together. Well, thank you, Mr. Adam, for sharing insights into Thai Union's sustainability initiatives. Now let's turn our attention to Dr. Chaya Jantarawasu, Executive Vice President, Sustainability, PTT Global Chemical, or PTTGC. Well, Dr. Chaya, PTTGC stands at the forefront of sustainable business practices. And given emerging ESG challenges, could you elaborate on how the company addresses these challenges to achieve sustainable practice in the industry?
Thank you. I think first of all, I'd like to thank SCT for the invitation. I think a lot of, we can discuss different sector today, right? But from GC point of view, we're coming from the manufacturing sector. And like you said, we have a lot challenging around the ESG issue. Let me go to the slide. I think like Adam mentioned, right, we are not new to sustainability. It's like a journey to us. And we on this journey for more than a decade, right? I think starting around 2012, I think we starting to become member of DJSI. I think you be aware this is very good in terms of how to learn from the best practices, right? And at the beginning, I think not many companies are talking about ESG. Like a decade ago, it's just, you know, kind of a good citizen practices, right? But now I think it's more important, it's a necessity to run the business. We starting 10 years ago on how to adopt the good practices and also how to have a transparent disclosure for our stakeholder. And then we learned that to sustain in terms of the business, right? We have to somehow integrate the ESG into the business. And later on, I think we not just look at the framework on ESG. I think it's a lot of business opportunity that we can explore around the ESG, right? So we starting a journey on the business transformation, how to create the product and solution or services to our customer. I think that's a journey we taken about 10 years ago. And I think later on, I think we have been discussed a lot on the climate agenda, and it's a lot of impact to our business, right? So we've seen that it's not just a single company that can have to commit on this. I think it's a collaboration. It's also part of the ecosystem that everybody have to help. So I think we work with a lot of of stakeholder, right, from supplier, from customer, our business partner to achieve the target. I think like Thai Union, we setting and we pledge for net zero in 2050. I think for us it's really challenging because we are manufacturing and we using natural resources, and it's quite energy intensive for us to produce a product, right? But we believe that everything is possible, so we commit in terms of the target, and we make sure that we allocate resources to make sure the implementation is on whatever we have on plan. I think fortunately we have to do something right, because if you look at this year, I think we got the rank number one, like Thai Union, in our sector, on chemical sector, 4 years in a row. So meaning we catch up with the regulation and also the ESG framework internationally, right? And if you look at the DJSI, basically is a broad base in terms of management practices on sustainability. But there will be other indexes that is important as well. For example, CDP, Carbon Disclosure Project, technically they focus a bit on climate and water, very detailed in terms of dimension, how you cope with the issue. I think GC also doing well on CDP. I think the only one company in Thailand that ranked A on climate and also on water. So we believe that it's part of the solution that we can offer to our customer. I think thirdly, it's not just the company, right? Like you mentioned, I think supply chain is very important. And we believe that not just to working with the supplier, your customer, I think we have to exchange in terms of experience and also the know-how, how to go together in terms of achieving this target. And for GC, I think the most challenging thing would be around is the business environment is very dynamic. And it's a lot of regulation that has been pressures in terms of how we're gonna get to the target faster, right? But again, to adopt and try to implement those practices is quite, you have to look at your stakeholder view as well, right? For example, we look at external factor, internal factor, that what would be the impact to our business. And if you see in the past couple of years, business environment has been challenging, right? The rising energy costs and also the changing the landscape in supply and demands of our market. And we believe that it's just short-term hiccups, right? In the longer term, I think the company also, our supply chain has still to commit to net zero, aligned with 1.5 degree. But to be honest, I think some of the solution that we're discussing today, right, to cut down the emission is still immature, right? For example, people talking about how we're gonna do the CCS, carbon capture and storage, or even utilization. But if you look at the economic, it's quite not feasible for today's environment. But it depends on what is your company operating in which region, right? In some region in our business, it's okay, meaning it's a lot of policy support, right? For example, in the US, they have an IRA, an Inflation Reduction Act, with the incentive that provided by the government. So it depends on how you look at the opportunity, right? For CCS, we explore the opportunity in the US. I think it's quite feasible, but again, it's going to be applied to the business in the US. But our asset can be in Asia. But Asia, for example, Thailand, so far it's not been a lot of policy support or the so-called the country strategy, right, around how we're going to deal with the emission, or how to, for example, CCS is possible to, because it's a big infrastructure investment. It's going to be complicated in terms of how you're going to finance those projects, right? And GC is, I mentioned, it's dynamic issue because every year we have to understand our stakeholder. So materiality is very important, right? We go talking to our shareholder, investor, supplier, customer, or business partner, right? To understand what's going to be on top of their mind, right? What would be the very focused topic on sustainability? And we rank them in terms of what would be the impact to the business, right? I think it's similar process what people are doing. But once we got the input from our stakeholder, we can prioritize in terms of what should be focusing on for short term and long term, right? I think that's what we're doing. And the other thing is quite necessary is that we believe the governance process is important in the company, right? Especially sustainability has to be somehow top down in terms of policy and direction. I think fortunately our board of directors is very, I would say, put a lot of importance in this on this area, right? And the management have to work with the board in terms of how to implement that policy and in terms of execution. For example, on the board level we have dedicated the sub-board, right, to deal with the sustainability and also the climate issue, and the one that is associated with how we're gonna move forward is a risk management, because climate strategy you try to commit 2050 is quite a far away, right? So it's a long journey, and somehow you have to basically look at the short-term, mid-term, long-term target. So the risk management in terms of both physical risk today and also transition risk into the future is very important. So somehow we have to have a systematic process how to deal with the risk management. And once the management, get the policy direction from the board, right? In terms of execution, I think sustainability is cover all the business function in the company, right? Not just a corporate function going to deal with the issue. I think you have to work with a different business unit, right? And somehow the people in the front line have to understand what would be the impact to their, day-to-day activity. So I think we have set up a committees on sustainability that, we can communicate and also put the best practices to the business people. And I think so far it's proven to be effective, meaning people know what they should do, right? And in their day-to-day function. I think the governance should be put in place, and basically to deliver in terms of result, we have to make sure that people, everyone in the organization understand the issue and what will be the impact to them. I think that's I have for the first question.
Thank you. I think it's very interesting that it's helpful to follow let's say the international best practices, best practice guideline. It's about collaboration. It takes everyone, and also I think tone at the top is very important to get the whole organization on the same page and going to tackle the same goal. And you mentioned many times about the net zero target. So if you can go further or deep into detail about the key strategies being implemented to reduce the emission, both the shorter term goal in 2030, I think reduced by 20%, and the longer term goal in 2050. Thank you.
I think like other company, right? I think we align with the Paris Agreement on 1.5 degree. So I think that's why it's important to become a net zero company by 2050. But again, because of the short term target have to be achieved, that's why we're setting 20% at 2030. But again, this would be how we're going to deal with the emission, right, coming out from our manufacturing unit. But again, we cannot compromise in terms of business growth. I think that's what shareholder investors are expecting. So we also have to make sure that the business grow according to plan, right? You're going to see going to be a paradox, meaning you have to grow the business, meaning more emission, but somehow we have to cut down in terms of the target. I think it's quite challenging, but if you look at our strategy on the right-hand side, to go to net zero target, we have three basically baskets on how we're going to manage it. I think first one is efficiency driven, meaning how to improve the productivity, right? How to transition to the cleaner energy that used in our manufacturing, and more importantly on the we so-called portfolio driven, meaning how to restructure the business, right? Moving toward the low carbon business, right? hydrocarbon or fossil base going to be with us for a long time because everything that we use today, right, have to rely on hydrocarbon, right? The textile, the food, and the packaging and everything, construction material. So we cannot get away with hydrocarbon, but somehow we have to find a way to cut down the footprint of your products. I think that's the reason why we try to look at the portfolio of our business, right? How to moving toward the low carbon business. And I think because we are one of the large manufacturing, the so-called hard to abate sector, meaning we will not be able to cut down 100% from our operation. So somehow we have to rely on compensation and technology as well, right? So another thing that we need to work on is on the compensation. We will start with the nature-based solution like forestation, reforestation, and in the near future, once the technology become more mature, right, we will basically adopt, for example, CCS or CCU in the future. I think that's what we're setting the target. But you look at how we're gonna cut down the emission, right? Only 20% will coming from the so-called efficiency-driven. Look at the number. I think by 2050 we have to cut down about 1 million tons of greenhouse gases, right? And most challengingly, we have to basically adopt it 100% from renewable energy. It might not be possible today, but we believe in the future the cost of renewable will come down, right? So it would be basically feasible that we can transition to 100% renewable energy. And on the compensation is, you see the number is about 55% that have relied on the so-called compensation. Almost 6.5 million tons have to go through this kind of approach. So we will keep monitoring and investing on the technology. I think right now we believe that by 2030, 35, or even before 2040, the technology should be more mature. And in terms of economics, it might be able to implement in terms of for example, CCS. On the last one, I think we started a few years ago on business restructuring. So we target about 3.3 or 3.5 million tons, right, coming from this business restructuring. So we're moving to low carbon economy. A few years ago, we invested in a lot of business in bio-based, right? Biofuel and biochemicals and also biomaterial, for example, bioplastic. And we look at how to reuse the resources, right? So we invested in a lot of recycling. I think only the plant in Asia, in Thailand, are already commissioning by the end of last year, and it's going to be the largest recycling plant in the region. I think the reason I mentioned because we see this as an opportunity. It's not just a risk that business has to deal with, but it could be the growth platform for the company, right? So you can changing your resources, for example, for more green feedstock, for example, raw material, right, for bio business. For recycling, you can cut down the cost by using the reused resources. And another one that what we're doing, we investing more in so-called performance product, right? Because with the same product, you can cut down the footprint that you come with your products. For example, we have a product in coating portfolio that we can help the customer to prolong their, in terms of life cycle of their products, right? So overall, when you calculated the number, it's going to improve not just on our scope 1 or scope 2, but also at our customer level as well. So I think that's the direction going forward on how to transform the business. Thirdly, I think it's going to be some sort of instrument and tools that can help you to move forward, right? We're setting up the so-called climate instrument. For example, in the company, we have adopted so-called internal carbon pricing for the investment decision making. If you're going to invest in a new project, you have to make sure you include the cost of the carbon as well, right? And for the existing asset that emitted a lot of greenhouse gases, they have to transform. So the adopt of so-called the carbon fee that the business have to be taking care of, meaning that's to be part of their cost in terms of doing business. So it's gonna accelerate, also incentivize the business to basically transform faster, and that would be the objective why we implement some sort of financial instrument in the company. But in the future, even though today there is no carbon tax or even the trading scheme in Thailand, but we expect to see that in the future. But why doing this in the company first? Company can, basically look at the business scenario that's going to be facing those kinds of regulation. I think that's all I have for the second question. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shaya, for your valuable input. And now let's hear from Mr. Chana Phumi, Chief Sustainability Officer, SCG Group or SCC. Well, SCG has been recognized as leader in sustainability. So what are some of the key sustainability practices and initiatives that have contributed to that recognition, and how have they positively impacted the company's business performance?
Thank you. Actually, what we talk about SCG, it's like 50,000 people, not only in Thailand, but also globally. And also, we talk about how we can engage our people internally and externally. Therefore, we have to simplify what we have to communicate with our stakeholders. This is what, may I have a slide, please? No slide. Okay, sorry. This is what I talk about. As we foresee that the challenge right now is not only a climate crisis, but also uncertainty. So we start to set the framework of the ESG 4+, to simplify and communicate among our stakeholders. Start with the net zero. This one will be, we have to make a solid roadmap in line with the NDC of Thailand. Secondly, go green is not only mean for the product itself. We have to consider on how we can improve the process to be more green. Third, this is also very important. We talk much on the reduce inequality. If you join the global event, most of the country also talk about how we can lift up the living quality of the poor people. Lastly, we cannot go alone. So we need some very long-term collaboration. This is what the SCG have the simplify for initiative, and also plus with the trust through transparency in our operation. Because if you can see that very important that how you can imagine from now on, maybe in next 5 years, the data integrity. I don't know how the Thailand can handle on this part, because the certified body also very important. Therefore, we quite focus on the transparency to set the govern or the community in from the top down to the bottom. This is the SCG roadmap that in line with NDC. In this, the roadmap also combine regionally in Vietnam, Indonesia, and also in Europe. And also, you can see that it's not split or separate in the chemical, cement, or packaging. We combine as a SCG roadmap to see how we can leverage each other to achieve the goal of this net zero roadmap. And also, we just also include the new expansion in the future to see which year will be the max, the highest emission of SEG. Our target will be 20% reduced from base year in 2020. That better than 40% of the NDC because the baseline different. The country baseline may be back about 10 or 15 years, but our baseline is in 2020. And also this one, the Go Green, what I'm just talk about, we improve or launch the new product, not only the cement, hybrid cement, but also green polymer and green packaging. And also behind this production, we also improve our process. If you can talk about IPPU, industrial process and product use of the NDC, that we have the target to reduce the emission of our process. This one, our target, 50,000 person in 2030. We want to help the valuable people lifting up their living quality, not only in the community nearby our operation, but also in some area that we can join hand with like handicapped people in Lamphun. You will see the video clip later on that how we can launch all of the program with the local people. This one, we just do some collaboration externally with the Thai Cement Manufacturing Association and Interior Minister to launch the PPP Saraburi Sandbox Low Carbon City. This is very important because the COP28, the theme is the global stock take. That means you have to join public, private to do something significantly to impact on your NDC. This is SCG also joined with the TCMA and scale down the country to the Saraburi province. As we have many factories in that area. And we not only focus in the energy itself, we focus on the Lulu land use to see how we can leverage the land that beside the factory to make the new renewable energy, Napier, and also others. And this is also we want to test and learn how we can get the funding from outside Thailand. As you may know that $100 billion that developed country also have willing to support the good project to other country, especially developing country, that we still lack of the Vietnam and Indonesia to get this green fund to support the activity in Thailand. And also the government side, Interior Minister and also Natural Resource Minister also join hand with this project. This is what the later or when SCG disclosed our data, we got many later also recognize on what we have done in the past. And we just joined the science-based target initiative. But luckily before TU, we still join 2 degrees Celsius. Down very tough, 1.5. And I think this is very important of how we can implement our ESG in SCG and also collaborate with outside.
The Saratburi, the area-based Saratburi sandbox is very interesting. If you can elaborate a little bit more on what the expected result that you looking for, and how would that contribute to the target? Oh, your company.
It's long story, yeah, but for example, I think everyone quite familiar with Saratburi. We have the irrigation system, the Lapi Pat Canal, that we can do energy transition by use the floating solar. So this is we can get a very cheap electricity, but the problem is the water itself. It belongs to different ministry. If we want to use the land, also we have to ask for permission from different ministry. So we set this project to test how we can ask the government amend law and regulation and get the fund from for example, European country. This is only one example. If you want to connect the floating solar to utilize in your factory, you have to ask permission from the PEA, that under Interior Minister. But anyhow, you have to ask the permission from, I don't know how the abbreviation of KOKP, that under the, or EGAT, that under the Energy Minister. So if we still have very easy project, but the obstacle, what we have to get the list of the problem or issue or concern, to join hand with the government side and see how we can make the new legislation of the law and regulation. I maybe add a bit the country, the energy transition plan is very good. Every detail, if you read, it can achieve very easy if you have the supporting law and regulation the right way. This is the example of the Saratburi sandbox. But we have many, because of, if you see at the NDC, one is energy transition, energy, second is IPPU, third is maybe waste and agriculture and Lulu. So we want to test many of the projects. If we can achieve only 10%, that we can expand to others. The 90% is nearly achieved, is not failed. You have a list and also suggest to the government to amend the law and regulation.
I see, I guess, going in this journey to sustainability transformation, we probably need, to think out of the box or new ways of doing things and moving things forward. And so this some kind of initiative or sandbox would lead to some policy recommendation to change the way we do things, I guess. Another question, SCG Group operates in various industries. So how does the company integrate sustainability into its diverse business sectors? And are there any, you give some specific example of sustainable solution and products that have developed, but if you have more, you can share with us.
In SCG, the big portion of scope 1 and 2 is cement business. Scope 3, it should be chemical. Packaging, maybe this is a very good business that very low emission, that can make or do some carbon sink, do the reforestation. Therefore, we have to find common initiative. In our case, energy is take part about 50%. So the energy transition should be the commonality of the initiative that we launch across the BU. Secondly, also we do what we call the NCS or positive activity named the Lak Pu Pha Su Mahanati. This is what we do many activity together with the community and outside. And also we have the other common activity across the business unit by using the roadmap. So what I'm showing is the SCG roadmap. But others, each BU also they have the roadmap. So we not combine their emission, but we combine the activity and also see how we can close the gap. This is the example of the activity that every SCG employee also can join. This using the drone and develop the technology to measure the CO2. This is the coastal activity in Trang. This is the color leaf, also TU Joy. Thank you for support this project. We use the cement print. This is quite natural material based and also very good result. Okay, that's all.
All right. Well, I have. Oh.
This is a product and solution. Also, we have the circularity solution. Maybe you can hear the name of the clean energy that do some the energy business. And also we have the green construction solution and smart living solution. And this is what I'm talking about, the Lak Pu Pha Mahanati, that we do some activity with the lower the carbon emission and do some positive impact. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have my last question for all three of you, maybe 1 to 2 minutes each. Well, starting with Mr. Adam, what role do you see foreign institutional investors and fund manager playing in supporting and driving sustainable practices in Thai listed companies?
I think for Thai Union, we're happy to demonstrate what leadership looks like in the industry. We're happy to share best practice, what works, what doesn't work, what interventions are needed, where are they needed. And we're happy to take this leadership position, but if we really want to drive true, long-lasting, permanent, scalable, systemic change, we have to work on leveling the playing field. And we do that by engaging with a number of different stakeholders. One is the regulators. Right? They have a critical role to play in making sure that we level up the industry. And what is best practice now becomes basically license to operate as we begin to move forward. So the legislatures have a critical role to play, but then all of the investors in the room, all of the investors online, you also have a crucial role to play in making sure that sustainability becomes the standard amongst the funds that you're investing in. And so today, I engage with a handful of different investors on matters relating to ESG. That number is growing every quarter, but it's still nowhere near the number of what the potential is. And so I'm very happy with the way things are progressing, but I believe that the investment community have a huge role to play in helping to level the playing field alongside the private sector, alongside our government partners as well, to really just make sure that these ambitions turn into reality.
Great, thank you. Dr. Shaya.
Like Adam said, right, I think investor and fund manager, they have a crucial role, right, in driving sustainability. I think what they could do is that they can basically influence the company, right, through their decision making. For example, they can allocate the capitals, right, to the company who have, prioritized sustainability or how they look at environmental responsibility, right? Secondly, I think they can basically engage with the company in terms of advocating on the good practices, right? For example, if a company have a improved ESG strategy or how they're taking care of environment, they can help to advocate, right? And for example, fund manager, they can also coming up with the financial products, right? For the company who can, widely adopt in terms of, or the ESG project or initiative or investment. So we can basically facilitate in terms of the company can have a smoother transition in terms of how they can financing those initiatives.
If we consider on four gap is mean supply side that we can improve our process, our production. Second, the demand side that willing to pay from the real customer or the market. Third, emission gap, that what we talk about, the roadmap. The fourth one that very important is financial gap. This is the, if we can get the support or even the investor can mobilize the capital to bring in the low carbon technology to close the gap of the what we talk about three first. That one thing that the investor can support. Second, right now, I think most of us are familiar with TCFD. So the raised up the ESG standard. This is very important, and TCFD can link not only for finance, the financial, but also link with the activity or project that we want to invest to lower down the low emission. This is two important points. I think is if we can get the strong support from the investor, it will help us to go faster.
Thank you. Now, I think it's the S2 in ISSB for the TCFD. But anyway, as we come to the end of this insightful panel discussion, it is evident that Thai listed companies are at the forefront of sustainable practices driven by the commitment and efforts of leaders like our panelists today. We have heard about the remarkable initiatives and strategies implemented by Thai Union Group, PTTGC and SCG Group, showcasing their dedication to sustainability and their contribution towards a more resilient and inclusive future. The discussion has highlighted the substance over form approach taken by the listed companies, emphasizing the importance of long-term value creation and integration of sustainability into their core business strategies. We have witnessed how these companies are navigating the challenges and opportunity presented by ESG factors, embracing innovation, forging partnerships, fostering ecosystem and uplifting the whole platform to drive positive change. So, and importantly, this panel discussion has also demonstrated the collaborative spirit between Thai listed companies and the global investment community. It is through this collaboration that we can collectively address the pressing global challenges like, for example, the climate crisis, social inequality, and resource scarcities. As we conclude, I encourage all of us to continue support and engaging the Thai listed companies on their sustainability journey. Let us recognize the progress made and the immense potential for further growth and impact. Together we can build more sustainable and prosperous future. And on behalf of the Stock Exchange of Thailand, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to our esteemed panelists, Mr. Adam Brennan, Dr. Chaya Jantarawasu, Mr. Chana Phumi, and thank you all of you for your kind attention and interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much for an insightful session. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all of you for joining us in this enlightening event, Thailand Focus 2023. With that, we conclude this event. A special thanks to our speakers, panelists, moderators, and all participants for your engaged contribution. I wish you all a delightful evening and a pleasant stay in Bangkok. We look forward seeing you again next year. ขอบคุณและสวัสดีค่ะ